Is Allen, Texas affordable? How much do you need to make in order to purchase a home in Allen? That's what we're looking at today. So we're going to go into some pretty in-depth recon about Allen, specifically Allen, and also doing some math. So let me just make sure that this is actually going live like it's supposed to. And you can hear me okay. So let me know in the chat if everything is good to go. We'll get started in 2 seconds. So again, our goal today is finding out the answer. How much do we need to actually earn in order to purchase a home in Allen? That is the assignment for today. We're going to look at some real estate. We're going to look at property taxes. We're going to look at mortgage interest rates. We're going to look at everything. So making sure that we understand the complete process of what Allen entails. If we're thinking about relocating to Allen, or we have to move to Allen, or just are curious about what the Allen real estate market is and what it is not, this is the video for you. So make sure that as you're coming in, a like is going to go a long way. We're going to get right into it. First thing, in order to answer how much you actually need to earn in order to purchase a home in Allen, we need to understand how much are the houses? What's the cost? What math do we need to get to? So let's get into that right now. What I like showing you first is Altos research, which is essentially market data, real-time market data that gives you median list price, gives you the amount of inventory around the median rent if you're looking to do that, how the type of market that you can experience in Allen, whether it's a buyer's market or a seller's market. So as you see here, the indicator, which this is free by the way, you can just go to altos.re and run a search on city by zip code. You're able to really get very specific about the area that you're looking to purchase in or sell if you happen to have a home in this market. So it gives you an idea of what to expect. So you see here, as far as the indicator goes, the index here says that it's a strong seller's market, which is true. So this is something that is happening currently. So here's the median list price, gives you an idea of where home prices have been all the way back from 2019. So you're looking at 5 years worth of data. So you can see everything was pretty status quo for a little while, for about a year and a half, and then it starts rising, and it continues to go up. Had a bit of a dip down here in late 2023 as rates started to get pretty high up there and not as sustainable as other markets. And the real reason that we're here is to get some meaningful information that we can work with today with our analysis. So the market segments at the very bottom is the reason that I look at Altos, because it provides just such a good indicator based off of the home that we're searching for. So this breaks the market down into 4 segments. So 25 by 25% basically. So if you do 100% divided by 4, that's 25%. And it gives you the type of property that you can purchase based off of the median price range, or it gives you the median price range. So we have a lot of individuals that call us from all over the country, and in multiple countries actually, that are looking to relocate specifically in Allen. So we break this open and see what type of property we can actually realistically purchase with our clients. So whenever we do our buyer discovery calls, we make sure that we have that information available to all of our clients, so they understand that if we're looking for a 5-bed, as an example, 5 bedrooms and over 4 baths, well, there's a price associated to that. And here you're looking at $1.6 million on average. Now, if you're looking for a home that has 3 beds and 2 baths, well, on average, this is the type of home that you can purchase. So if you're looking for a 3-bed, 2-bath, roughly 1,600 square foot property, then you can purchase it for roughly $410. Now, this gives you a good indicator if this is the type of property that you need, 3 beds, or let's go with the common request that we get is 4 beds and 2.5 baths and beyond. Well, if you're looking for that type of property in Allen, again, we're only talking Allen right now, then this is the price range that you're essentially looking at, almost $600,000. So this is actually the price that we're going to go into with our analysis today as we answer how much we actually need to earn in order to purchase a home in Allen. So we're going to use the figure $590,000. As you can see, there's a big jump In price. We could go and do this analysis. If we have time, we'll probably look at it just to see what it looks like. But you see also the type of home that you purchase is 1,000 square feet more. Now, don't let the number of beds fool you. This essentially means that there's going to be some flex rooms that are available to you that you could actually convert into beds if you so choose. Here, you're typically looking at larger living spaces. Here, you're looking at typically with this size of home, you're looking at, I think I already mentioned more open spaces, but you also have offices that you can convert if you so choose to bedrooms. Again, if you so choose. All right. So with that being said, let's look at what these properties actually look like. This is something that is very helpful for every single client out there, so they visually see the property. It really makes it more tangible, because right now you might not be used to seeing sales prices, and oftentimes we're not. Unless you're in this every single day like we are, then you don't really think about what the prices are for real estate. You see houses all over the place, and you can envision yourself, hey, could I live in here just based off of the facade and seeing the property out in the wild? But you don't really associate, all right, this type of property in this type of neighborhood will cost me this amount of money. You can guess, but oftentimes it's not the most accurate. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a very, very brief detour, and we're going to look at this. We're going to look and see what type of property we can purchase. Now, we're going to be very, very quick because my software has been acting up. It has been acting up. So what we're going to do is we're going to look at Allen. We're only going to look at single family properties right now, as that's the most commonly requested thing that we get. And we're going to search for properties around we're shooting for that on the right hand side as I drive by here, just so you get a feel for what properties look like in Allen, because you might be viewing from another state that for $500,000 as an example in Los Angeles, you're not getting much. Now, if you're getting $500,000 in McAllen as an example, you're getting a pretty sizable property. So you see there's not that many available. So this is exactly to the nose, to the average, $590,000. This is a relatively newer looking home. For this purpose, that's done more than enough. I'd rather get what we're talking about when it comes to property taxes, when it comes to affordability, when it comes to the income. So what you're looking at the moment is our max price calculator. Now this max price calculator, it comes to us courtesy of Win the House You Love by Kyle Seagraves. Fantastic YouTube channel. So just type in Win the House You Love, and we'll link his channel down below where he gives this breakdown, and he's shared this with us, and we do this with all of our clients. So we have this particular purchasing tool. We have another tool where we do deep analysis based off of loans. So we're able to compare FHA loans to conventional loans to USDA loans to VA loans, all types of loans. So if you're interested in those tools, check out the link down below where you're going to have access to this information. So this particular tool is linked down below, so go make sure that you check it out. But with that being said, let's build this up real quick. So we're going to make some assumptions. I'm going to generalize because we do these analysis all of the time. So I'm going to give you some common scenarios. Your scenario might look a little bit different, but once we go through this, you're going to be able to make the adjustments to your specific situation. So again, this is linked down below so you can follow along and change a few things, modify a few things in accordance to what your particular needs are. So for our purposes today, we're going to assume that we're going to put 5% down on this property. Again, we're trying to get to $590,000. So no excuse. We just have a Google Sheets up in my broadcasting system here, which is should work, pull us through. If we do 20% down, just a quick little recap there. If we do that, then we avoid what's called mortgage insurance. In this particular case, if we get a conventional loan, we're avoiding private mortgage insurance, which is essentially another interest, half an interest point to an interest point to an additional fee that you're paying on your loan until you get 20% equity in the property. So if you don't do at least 20% down, you are paying that mortgage insurance. It's an additional tax, or an additional fee. I shouldn't say tax because it's not. An additional fee that the bank charges you because you don't have enough skin in the game according to them. All right, so they're gonna make you pay for that. Now for our interest rate, we're gonna do this. What is the mortgage interest rate today? We're just gonna straight up Google. Just do that. You can just click on that and it'll take you there. But I just want to show you, in case that you're not, if you don't have, with as long as here right now is 6.736, and that's what we're going to use, 6.736. And you see the trailing 30-day average. So again, go check out, show some love that you actually have available in your particular home as well. So make sure that you check out the link down below. So for our purposes today, we're going to assume a 6.736. What did I put? Forgot the 7. That's kind of important. All right, so that's what we're going to say mortgage rate is today. We're saying that this is what it's going to cost us to borrow some money. Now, historically, interest rates have been insanely higher, but also here recently, here in the 3 and 4%, to understand how much it's going to cost you to borrow money in order to purchase a home, just Google that, and or just click that link on what's happening right now. So right now, the cost of money when it comes to purchasing a home is about 6.74%. All right, we're going to assume a 30-year fixed note, so a 30-year fixed mortgage, which is what most individuals end up using. Now, here's where you're going to pay price of admission. This is where you get the payoff immediately in Texas. Texas has some of the highest property taxes in the country. Let me say that again. Texas has some of the highest. You may be wondering, well, what's number one? Number one is New Jersey. New Jersey has the highest property tax rate in the country, and Texas isn't too far off. Now, the huge trade-off here is that there's no state income tax. So that is a good thing, of course. With that being said, we have to figure it out. Now, you can click on the property tax map by state and it'll give you an average of what the state is, but we can do one better. This is again where you get your money's worth from finding this content and hitting that like button, because it's going to really help out amplify this message. But this is where you're going to get the bang for your buck by showing you exactly how to calculate this property tax rate, because thousands of dollars worth of difference. So if there are phenomenal areas, by the way, there's differences when it comes to property tax rates. So you might have the ideal home in each Mount Coppell and Frisco, and you're thinking, I am in love. I could live in any of these properties, no question, or any of these cities, no question. Well, there's a big difference in property taxes. There's a huge difference. So if everything else is the same and the only thing that it comes down to is how much you're paying, then property tax rate is something to really pay close attention to, because property taxes do not go away. Let me show you how to calculate it, and then if I remember, I will break down what a mortgage payment actually is comprised of. So what we're going to do is we're going to go property tax rate in, what do we go? This is beautiful. This is beautiful. This actually shows it for us right out of the gate. All right, don't want to miss anything for you. Here we go. Phenomenal. Okay, so I'm gonna do some it's dangerous doing math in public, but we're gonna try it. 1.22, 1.36, 1.78. Is that right? 1.78. So I've just added this up. We're going to put 1.8 just to be generous. 1.8. Why did it do that? Maybe because I typed it. There we go. 1.8. I will do my math again real quick, and then we'll get out of this. I think that's about right. Okay, so let's go back. Let's talk about property taxes. When you're looking at cities, it doesn't matter which city in the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex, there's going to typically be 4 to 5 taxes that you're looking at, or you're going to be assessed. One is going to be, under all circumstances, it's going to be your city tax. So the city of Allen is going to have a tax. And you see here 0.42%. This is actually on the lower end, quite frankly. You can have cities that are going to be 0.3 something. You can have cities that have up to 0.6 something. So there's going to be a range. So here with City of Allen, it's actually on the lower end. Every single city is going to have this. So you're going to have a portion of your property taxes are going to go to the city. So you see the portion of total tax. Now, every single city has that. Something else that every single city has also is the county tax. Your county tax is going to be substantially lower in all cases. So your county tax, so there, if you live in, as an example, if you live in Flower Mound, you're over here in Denton County. If you're looking at Allen, which is what we're looking at today, you're over here in Collin County, right? So that's gonna be different. So those property tax rates are going to be different. And what you're typically going to find is also, let me show you the third one. This one's out of order. The third tax that you're going to find in all the cities is going to be your ISD tax, or Independent School District tax. So here you have Allen. This is going to be the highest tax that you're going to have when it comes to property taxes, right? So you're going to have the city, the county, and the ISD. And here you have the ISD of 1.14%. Right. So again, in all the taxes that we're talking about, those three taxes are going to be assessed. It doesn't matter which city that you live in. You're going to be taxed on those three: the city, the county, and the ISD. It's going to vary depending on the city, the county, and the ISD that you're in. I know I'm breaking this down a little bit more than you might have asked for, but this is so important. Remember, property taxes do not go away. Regardless if you have a mortgage to pay off or not, you are being assessed that for the life that you own that property. For the term that you own that property. I don't know. I'm struggling with words today. So again, a like is going to go a long way. If you have any questions, please feel free to drop them in the chat. I'll make sure that I address it as we get going. The fourth tax that you're not going to find in all the cities, but you are going to find in a good amount of them, is going to be your higher education tax. So here you have Collin County Community College. They assess a tax, right? And then you're also going to find, not in all the cities, but in some cities, you're going to find a hospital tax. So there's 5 main components that you're going to look at. 3 property tax, or 3 rates that you're going to really be very familiar with every single year in every single city: the city, the county, and the ISD. And then the 2, let's call them variable, that they're not going to be there all the time. You're going to have the higher education tax, as you see here with Allen, and the hospital tax. I think we're good now, right? So you just add those together, and that's what you're paying in property taxes for the most part. It gives you a good conservative number to work off. All right, so now that we have found it, again, property tax rates are going to vary across the Metroplex. I can tell you that in Garland, this percentage is going to be substantially higher. So if you're in between Allen and Garland, take a look at that. Insurance rate, we're going to leave at 0.75%. This is a good average in relation to the property's value. So this is what we're going to leave. You can bump it up if you choose, but I wouldn't bump it down. The reason I wouldn't bump it down is because more insurance premiums, home insurance premiums specifically, are going up. And heck, vehicle insurances are going up. So I challenge you to go and look at your premiums both in your property and your vehicle and see the difference that they had 3 years ago. So dig up those statements from 3 years ago and compare them to today's premiums. They're going to be substantially different. Now, also recognize that home insurance is not a fixed cost. Every single year, you're most likely going to be paying more in home insurance. So if you're looking at your mortgage payments, you're going to see 4 components. You're going to see the principal, how much you asked for, essentially how much you borrowed. You're going to have your interest, how much it cost you to borrow that money. You're going to have your property taxes. Most likely you're paying your property taxes in escrow to your mortgage servicer. So you're paying your property taxes every single month, and every single year, most likely your property taxes are going to go up. Not because the rate changed, but because your property's value increased in most instances. And then you also have the 4th component, which is your home insurance, right? So for the most part, those are the 4 things that you're purchasing, that 4 things that you're paying every single year. Now, eventually, your interest, your principal, how much you owe, and also you're paying on that loan, eventually goes away after 30 years. Or if you do some payments ahead of time, you eventually get rid of your principal and your interest, and you're only left with your property taxes and your home insurance. Which technically you can get rid of your home insurance, but I do not recommend it. I do not recommend that at all. Let's keep going. Your HOA fees. In Allen, you have a good mixture. You're going to have a good mixture of properties that are in HOAs and properties that are not in HOAs. But for the most part, if you're buying a new home, over 75% of the homes that are being built right now or that are being sold right now are in HOAs. So we're just going to leave this in. And $800 is a reasonable HOA fee. It could be higher, it could be lower, depending on your HOA and the amenities that you get. But we're going to leave this in for the calculation so you have a good understanding of what that looks like. Now, for our purposes today, don't worry about the income tax rate at the moment. Just focus more on this particular number right here. You're going to have two spots. You're going to have your gross income, and then you're also going to have another borrower. So if you're going to add somebody else to the loan, you're going to input both. But for our purposes today, we're just going to treat it as one single income, regardless of if there's one or two people. So for our purposes today, we're going to say we make $180,000. Remember, we're trying to get to, what number are we trying to get to? $590,000? Yeah, $590,000 is what we're trying to purchase. Let's start lower just to make a good number here. Now remember, there's a lot of different things that we can change here. And depending on when you're watching, things will be changing. So you might be in a position to put more money down, which means that you have less of a loan that you're requesting, which means that you're going to have more purchasing power because you are not saddling yourself with as much debt. Your interest rate, God willing, is much lower by the time you're watching this video, but it could also be higher. So you're going to be able to make that adjustment. So you're going to see how big of a difference that makes. Now that you have your income input into this particular tool, you also want to add your debt, how much debt you have. So make sure that you include actual debt like car loans, student loans, credit cards, alimony, child support, anything that's categorized as debt. Now, this is a good little indicator of what is debt and what is not. So your rent, groceries, utilities, phone bill, insurance, gas, and food, those are not debt. Those are just expenses. So, and they matter, but when it comes to getting qualified for a loan, they don't matter as much. There's already a percentage allocated to that of what is deemed acceptable from a loan perspective. So here, what you're looking at is the debt to income ratio that's going to be affected. So if you have a student loan or a car loan, make sure that you're inputting it here so it gets factored into the equation. All right. So again, we're not going to put anything here for our purposes. I just want to give you a clear round number. Are you able to hear me? Hopefully you are able to hear me. If you're able to hear me and not see me, that's okay. It sounds like you are able to hear me. All right, so we're going to keep going. We're not going to let technology hold us down. All right, so let's keep going. For our purposes today, we're just going to go with the clear round number. All right, now what we're going to do is we're going to go over here to our affordability dashboard on the third tab here. Again, please visit the channel Win the House You Love. They have phenomenal tools over there. And also, you're going to find the link to this particular tool linked down below. All right, so now that we've made that calculation, or now that we've input the information that we needed to, we need to see, hey, can we borrow enough, or can we actually make this work for us? We need to get to $590,000 in order to purchase a home in Allen. So as you see here, just to give you a little bit of a breakdown of what we're talking about, and then we'll get into different scenarios, which in short, you can purchase a home, just to give you the breakdown here. But let's talk about how you can interpret this and make some adjustments along the way. So what this particular dashboard does, it gives you a conservative, let me zoom in here if I can. I don't want to fidget too much with this because, again, you saw how particular this is. All right, so hopefully you can see that okay. There we go. This gives you a conservative breakdown. It gives you a conservative affordability. So again, remember, we have factored in $150,000. We're assuming good credit, and we're making the assumptions that we have in present day, the interest rate, how long the property is going, you're borrowing the loan for, and all that fun stuff. So here, a conservative purchase price that is analyzed based off of the criteria that you gave, or that we gave, is just short of $400,000. And your total payment is going to be roughly $3,500. Again, we're going to go through the scenarios showing you that you can actually purchase that home that we're looking for, except it's going to be a little bit riskier in terms of how much debt you're putting onto your personal finances. But anyway, let's continue. If you're putting 5% down, it's going to roughly be $20,000 in this assumption, in making this assumption. Now, if you're going to do 5% down and purchase a home of this price, roughly $400,000, you're paying roughly $9,800 in closing costs. This will vary a little bit, but it does depend on a few other factors. So your principal is going to be this, or at least your initial principal and interest is going to be this. Your property taxes is this. So again, this is very important because this number most likely is going to increase every single year unless real estate prices just absolutely tank and then your assessed value goes down. Home insurance, your mortgage insurance, remember, we didn't put 20% down. That means that we're paying mortgage insurance, given that the bank is charging you an additional fee every single month until you can get to 20% equity, and then it goes away if you get a conventional loan. And then your HOA roughly is going to be $67, except just remember that with HOAs, you don't necessarily pay that within the loan itself. You pay that at the beginning of the year, every single year. So it's essentially a bulk payment. All right, so that is based off of the scenarios that we just talked about and giving you a very conservative risk tolerance, a very conservative risk level. Now what we're going to do is we're going to show you a little bit more aggressive risk. So for those of you that are comfortable with a little bit more debt, everybody has their own risk tolerance. That's why we give different scenarios depending on where you feel comfortable when it comes to your finances. So on a conservative number, you can purchase a property for $392,000. That would be your down payment, and this can be roughly your monthly mortgage payment. We just talked about that. Now, if you can tolerate a little bit more risk, if you can tolerate a little bit more debt, and you feel comfortable with that, then your purchasing power can go up to $506,000. This is the moderate risk level. That means that you would be putting down $25,000. And remember, this is going to go higher as well. Your estimate, well, not by much. Your closing costs are going to be a little bit higher, but not that much. Your mortgage payment is going to be $4,500. Now, if you want to get a little bit aggressive, you are able to do that. So that's why I'm saying that based off of the breakdown and the numbers that we've talked about, assuming that you're making $150,000 with really no debt, you are able to put on a more aggressive loan on your balance sheet. However, recognize there's your mortgage payment, your monthly mortgage payment. However, recognize the following, that in order to qualify for these riskier, more aggressive debt to income ratios, you do need phenomenal credit. I'll say that again. You need phenomenal credit. This is, if you have, I do not want to disrespect anybody, so I'm not going to say a number, but if you have less than ideal credit, let's say that, go ahead and delete these because you're not going to be able to qualify for these. But if you have good credit or better than average credit, you can qualify for these more, we'll call them riskier loans. Not because the loans themselves are riskier, but because you're adding some additional debt and you might not be able to qualify not all the banks are going to qualify you for these types of loans. So just make sure that you are cognizant of this. But again, as you get further down into the aggressive and risky and the percentages go higher when it comes to debt to income, know that you need great credit in order to do that, right? So let me give you just a little bit of a breakdown of, let's just say you have a dual income and both of y'all make, I don't know, 100 apiece. Both of y'all make 100 apiece and you're living well. Let's just say that. All right, so there's $200,000. What does that do to your affordability? If you have either dual income or single income that's making $200,000 a year, there's your max price from a conservative level under this particular interest rate. You can purchase a property for $525,000, relatively comfortable with a 5% down, estimated closing cost of that. And you can see even under the moderate risk level, you're well beyond the average of that property that we're trying to purchase in Allen, which is $590,000, right? So that's something that you're going to want to play around with. It's going to be linked down below. This tool will allow you to break that down so you can have access to it and play around with these numbers. What's more important for you today is that you understand how to work these numbers, interpret these numbers, and know what's going to affect them. Now, as you scroll down, you're going to find some different scenarios. You're going to be able to factor in additional closing cost, additional costs associated to buying a home. So this gives you that breakdown, which is a phenomenal breakdown. It gives you the taxes, the homeowner's insurance, the mortgage insurance, the HOA. It also gives you utilities, maintenance. You can mess around with this number. This is for you to estimate and see what is actually going to be, what additional costs you're going to actually be incurring. This gives you a really good starting point to choose from, the down payment and closing costs that are associated to that, and just different how the different prices will affect your monthly mortgage payment. So as an example, if you're able to negotiate a property down a certain amount, it'll let you know how that affects your mortgage payment overall. So you're able to do some quick math in one fell swoop. And it goes on to explain so much more. Again, check out this link down below. This is a tool that was created by Win the House You Love, our good friend Kyle Seagraves. He, as you can see, is a genius. This is the exact same breakdown that we do with our clients as we're doing buyer discovery calls, so we have clear understanding of what the math looks like. All right, so if you have any questions, please feel free to drop them down in the comment section down below. Sorry you can't see my face anymore, but my software decided to kill my camera. But overall, I appreciate the heck out of you. Let us know what city we need to do next. Let us know if you have any questions. Let us know if we can support you in any way. We sell real estate all across the country, in multiple countries at this point. So if you are seeking to move here to the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex, reach out to our team. We would gladly be able to support you. But if you are also looking for a property outside of the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex, we operate in all 50 states plus 23 different countries. So we'd be glad to support you in that way as well. Outside of that, have a great day. I'll talk to you soon.